What's going on, everybody? This is Shockwave48 here. Welcome back to another video. And today is time for the next chapter to begin, guys. We're on the chapter 417 of My Hero Academia, guys. Things are starting to heat up on this chapter because I've reviewed it. I've seen some of the chapters on Twitter. I see some kind of manga pages, and it looks crazy. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I never really understand it for myself, but I won't find out for sure on this video. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right in and let's see what's going on in this chapter.
All right, so we got the 417 spoilers, and this is a pretty heavy chapter, guys. I'm not going to lie. We are reliving Shigaraki's harsh childhood memories, as we knew that we were going to, but I thought maybe we were just going to cut to the decay stuff. But no, we are seeing the very tragic stuff that happens before that, and it's more important that other characters, rather than the audience, are witnessing it in this chapter as well. So let's get into it, because it begins with a gust of wind coming out of Shigaraki, creating waves and sending Hatsume's robot flying away. The people watching the fight are confused because it looks like Midoriya has entered Shigaraki's finger cocoon. The next page shows Deku inside the fingers throwing a punch that transfers all the users except for Nana. She calls out everyone else's name, but soon realizes that she has been repelled due to her conflicting feelings regarding Shigaraki and Kotaro. Alright, so we're just cutting right to all of the vestiges except for Nana being transferred to Shigaraki. This has been the plan for the last couple chapters. Izuku forcibly giving Shigaraki each individual vestige of One for All to break through his inner consciousness, or even I guess you could say his subconsciousness, to get past the Shigaraki aspect and more so into the Tenko aspect that is being held back by Shigaraki. This way they can, I guess, defeat him from the outside in. And now he has all of them except for Nana, and it says she repelled herself essentially due to her conflicting feelings regarding Shigaraki and Kotaro. Shigaraki, aka Tenko, her grandson, Kotaro, Shigaraki's father, her son, who she abandoned because of All for One. And we'll get into that because this is mainly what the chapter is about, I suppose.
He was a terrible father to him.
About to ring the doorbell, he's approached by a dark version of himself. What are you planning? It says. What will actually change if you know about the past? Deku realizes that it's Shigaraki talking to him and says that he doesn't know for sure, but he has
I
to
didn't know
find
Deku
out.
has a dark
So yeah,
version. Oh, that's
Izuku is
crazy.
now like not only reliving the memories of Shigaraki, but he's like interacting with them as well. And I'll go more into what is happening here because it gets crazier. But we're seeing like essentially like this reflection of Izuku, as it says, a dark version. It looks pretty cool. It's pretty aesthetic, I must say. But it's more so Shigaraki speaking through him. It's not like the Dark Deku with the tattered clothes and the black whips coming from him. Dark Deku says, "Die." But Deku only replies with, "I'm coming in." But before he does, he almost gets hit by a truck and his backpack gets scratched, which makes Deku realize that he is physically inhabiting that world. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Factor. Also, if you're familiar with HelloFresh, which I've also used before and love, Factor is in partnership with them. Factor is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast upscale options done easily, because they're 2-minute meals, so you can fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant quality meals, meaning they're 100% ready to heat and eat, so there's no prepping, cooking, or cleanup needed, and it's flexible for your schedule because you can get as much or little as you need by choosing 6 to 18 meals per week, plus you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. So first I tried the jalapeno popper burger with cauliflower popper rice and roasted zucchini. I love this so much. The jalapenos go so well with the burger, and they always do their cauliflower rice so well. I also really like
I
how the
like
zucchini
cauliflower.
balances
I once
everything out.
tried it
Then
at
I
my
tried the
grandma's house.
vegan
It was
mushroom
good.
marsala with onion risotto and roasted garlic green beans. This is another meal that I absolutely love because they made this mushroom marsala
Delicious.
so good, and the onion risotto is fantastic. Can't get enough of this stuff. Factor also has these really cool wellness shots. I tried the apple ginger lemon cayenne, and you really feel it on like the first sip. Like I usually take these on a fasted stomach, and they make me feel so good. So guys, you can get Factor by checking the link in the description or head to factor75.com and make sure you use code ZONIN50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavors for every order while you are an active subscriber. Thanks, guys. So yeah, Izuku, like we said, not only interacting with Shigaraki's memories, but it's somehow become like this tangible reality as well. And this is like full-blown Quirk singularity on display here. Not like the world ending aspect of it, but quirks becoming so powerful that people are no longer in control of them. Like they're gaining these powers that are literally breaking reality. Like it's one thing for the 2 quirks of One for All and All for One to interact with each other and create this phenomenon where they can relive each other's memories via being transported to some different type of reality, but now it's become some kind of tangible world as well, at least for the inhabitants of it, which is just wild. Also, I need to point out, Izuku in this flashback reality world thing, he's wearing his school uniform again. Nana says that since Deku is a one-for-all user, he has taken on a physical form when entering Shigaraki's unconscious worlds and can now interact with it. Deku is surprised to see Nana and she apologizes for being blocked. But Deku says that he's glad to have her with him. Nana says that this is Shigaraki's core, his origin, where they can hit him. It's the only chance they'll have to defeat him. Deku runs to press the doorbell, but Stain materializes and jumps on him and puts 2 knives to his neck like he did to Shigaraki in the Hosu arc. Alright, so pretty cool to see Stain again, even if it is just a manifestation of his memories. Stain is... I'm pretty
Never thought to
sure
see him
dead
again. I thought he was
like
dead during
actual
that fight with All for
world
One.
of My Hero. Like I think All for One killed him because we haven't seen him since he teamed up with All Might to take him on. So, you know, he's probably dead, unfortunately. But I hope he's not. I hope, you know, in the last couple chapters, it's like, oh, hey guys, I survived. Now I'm just gonna run off into the sunset and be a weirdo somewhere. But probably not. Stain then turns into Redestro, who asks, what do you stand for? What do you want to asked Shigaraki in My Villain Academia. Redestro then turns into Overhaul, who asks, do you have a plan? Just like he asked Shigaraki in the Shiai Hisakai arc. So this is pretty cool. We're seeing like a quick glimpse of like the major villains throughout the series, which is, you know, of course fitting for the ending. And also their iconic phrases towards Shigaraki individually, but how they also now pertain to Deku more than anything, because it's exactly what he is doing. He is going into defeating Shigaraki here in his unconsciousness, similar to how Shigaraki went about becoming the new symbol of evil. Overhaul asks, do you have a plan? And Deku replies, no, now get out of my way. He runs away and opens the door, but it turns into that photo of Nana and baby Kotaro. While we hear the conversation between Hana and Tenko, Nana sees the photo and gets teary-eyed. Deku walks through the door and sees Kotaro beating his son, but Tenko is represented as a black silhouette. Nana starts crying and Deku runs towards them, but is blocked by Shigaraki's rejection. Kotaro says that their grandmother is a demon who abandoned her own son. So, this is what I was talking about in the beginning. It was more so important for these characters to witness this because essentially no one really knew about Shigaraki's, you know, tragic backstory other than like All for One and Yujiko essentially, right? And whoever Shigaraki told in the League of Villains, even if he did tell anybody, maybe Spinner. But this is the first time Nana is seeing it, and she is going to have a lot of blame on herself for this because, you know, as it says here, Kotaro says his grandmother is a demon who abandoned her own son, and it's more complicated than that. It's like she left him behind because All for One is a freaking crazy all-powerful psychopath who was targeting her, and she was trying to protect him, which was essentially the right move. And it doesn't give Kotaro an excuse for what he did to Shigaraki. Kotaro's just a piece of crap, but you know, we'll get more
he
into
really
it.
is.
Nana thinks to herself that this isn't true and that she was forced to leave him behind. She realizes that the wound she left on Kotaro ended up hurting Shigaraki too, and blames herself for not being strong enough to defeat All for One and go back for her son. So yeah, Nana shouldn't really be blaming herself. It's really the only thing that she could do at that point. There was no All Might, there was no Izuku, there was no plot armor yet. All for One was just way too powerful. She like essentially gave her life so that All Might could become the symbol of peace and defeat him. There was no one strong enough to stand up to him at that point. So she had to protect Kotaro the only way that she could. It's not an excuse for him to become an abusive piece of crap. She falls to the ground, but realizes that she has to do something and wipes away her tears. I'm sorry, Kotaro, for being such a weak mother. I'm sorry I never came back. The two of them break through the invisible barrier, and Deku jumps towards Tenko, and Nana hugs Kotaro. With that, Nana finally gets transferred to Shigaraki. Her last thought is, it was all Grandma's fault. The scene changes, and Tenko is no longer just a silhouette. Now he's crying in the backyard and starts decaying moan while Deku watches. End of chapter. We're finally
Wow.
getting into the harshest of the harsh stuff. Now that Deku and Nana is finally seeing what had happened, I don't think this is the end for Nana, even though she has been transferred to Shigaraki. I think that she still has to have another moment where she actually speaks with him at least. But Izuku seeing his harsh history, but now is going to see the harshest, where he accidentally decays his whole family. And, you know, we've already talked about this many a times. I'll go more into it in my review for the chapter once it's released, but this is probably going to reveal some revelations about All for One. Less so about Izuku. That's more of a fantastical theory, but, you know, how All for One perpetrated all of this, and what Nana did was essentially all for naught in the end, unfortunately. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think.
Wow. Don't you guys, this chapter is going to be heated up. Oh boy, this is all so heartbreaking to see that Nana is pretty much blaming herself. I mean, she really doesn't have to. I mean, this is not technically her fault. It was just, sometimes things happen for a reason. Now we come to the bad day that Deku is seeing Shigaraki's origin. It's pretty much he needs to understand what Shigaraki's been going through. But now that Nana is transferred from Shigaraki, what does that mean for Deku? I mean, does he lose his power, or does he might get a new quirk? I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's trying to save Shigaraki. That's his main plan. But what's gonna happen next? I'm not for sure. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna break through that barrier and try to get to communicate with Shigaraki and save Tenko. I think that's the plan. What he's trying to do. So hopefully we might see that. Because we're on break next week. I heard about on Twitter saying that the next chapter is on break. So we might have to wait a couple of weeks, I guess, and see what we find out. But I have to say, the chapter looks very intense to hear. Now that we understand his origin and Shimura's relationship, I feel like this might be the end for Shigaraki. That's all I have to say. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Look forward to see what happens on chapter 418. Look forward to seeing that. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.